Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. I hope you're doing well today. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about a new electronic level called the SG Pulse. It's something that I think you should have on every precision rifle, and that is going to be some type of level. So let's get into it. All right, so us as long-range shooters, we have enough going against us. Everything from the wind to worrying about standard deviation and extreme spread, all of that stuff matters. But once you've mastered or at least got a really good concept of your fundamentals of marksmanship, now it's going to be employing all of this and making sure that you're making those shots as needed. However, when you start shooting in the mountains, or you start shooting on side slopes, it's really difficult to determine what level is on the rifle. Now, level is extremely important, guys. So much so that if you're taking a 1,000-yard shot, if you're off by about 1 degree, you're going to have about a 5-inch off target miss. Okay, it might, maybe the target's bigger than that and it won't miss, but for every degree of cant at 1,000 yards, you're looking at about 5 to 6 inches off target. So if it's canted to the right, you're going to miss it by about 5 to 6 inches off right. Now remember, you still have to have those fundamentals down first and foremost, and if you don't have those down, then it doesn't matter what type of level you put on there. Now I grew up in the days where we had, the spirit levels, and they worked really well. But I remember at about 2015, 2016, I started seeing this little digital level called an LRA Send It, and they were in first prototypes. I remember seeing that back in those days. They were just starting to come out with these things, and I was like, man, that is awesome, because as we get older, it's a little harder for me to focus on things that are up close just in front of my ocular. And so with the LRA Send It, you didn't have to really focus on it. It was kind of in your peripheral vision, and regardless of how you had it mounted, whenever you saw the green light, you knew you were at least level. And guys, these have been phenomenal. In about 2022, I think MDT acquired LRA, or the long range arms, and these have always been awesome. I do not run in any type of competition without an electronic level because I'm not having to focus on it. I can also see it at night. You can turn it down, but they've really been the only kit on the block, and they're not inexpensive. You're looking at about $230 the way that it sits, and this was the original one, and then they replaced that with the MV3. So the MV3 gave you some options because now you could mount it on a spur, you could mount it on an M-lock, but now you were looking at $40 to $60 adding this mount to your already $230 option for your level. So now you're looking at about $300 for an electronic level. Now, while it's important, is it that much better than a $15 level? No, it isn't, but to me it was well worth it having it because I didn't have to focus on it. And guys, I've always said, I love competition. Competition in the market is what drives the prices down and what drives innovation. So when I heard that the guys from SG Shooters Global, you guys might recognize their shot timer. When these guys came out, there was actually some things with MDT when this first came out. This is actually a phenomenal shot timer. Everything from near field charging to just a lot of different options, especially for video. If you're one of those guys that runs around with the Ray-Bans and the GoPro and you're filming every single match that you shoot, then these are invaluable because you can get real time, get your splits and see all of that. So when I heard that SG was coming out with a level called the Pulse, I had to have it. These guys did not reach out to me. I reached out to those guys because I wanted to see exactly what it was going to offer on the market. You're looking at a price point of about $150 to $160. It doesn't use the crazy in-style batteries, and you have a lot of different configurations that you can run on it. It is so simple. It integrates perfectly with your cell phone. Doesn't matter if you're using an Android or if you're using a Apple product, but you just press and hold it for 3 seconds. The form factor on this thing is unbelievable. I've actually been testing it for quite a while, and if I want to mount it on 45 degrees, 40 degrees, whatever I want to put it at, I can immediately calibrate it with my phone to tell it what level is once I've leveled that rifle. You have a couple of different options. You can mount it on a Picatinny, you can mount it on an M-LOK, and it's going to be about $150. The beauty of it is you can also integrate it with the video feature, so that if you have the shot timer, you can get real world footage and see exactly what your barrel is doing. You can see exactly how steady you were when you pulled that shot. So let me give you an example of that. All right, so using the SG timer application, it does pair perfectly with the SG Pulse. You will see that in the top right hand corner. For this first shot, I'm going to get on the barricade. I'm actually going to hold it to the horizontal right so you guys can see it, but pay attention to how that resolution to the left of that shows that I'm holding about 1 MOA. It shows the recoil straight up and down. You'll see my barrel angle is about 5 to 6 degrees. On this one right here, I'm actually going to hold it more definitely level, but I'm behind the rifle wrong. Watch the recoil. You see that recoil impulse was off to the right? And so you can do a lot of different things with this to see how precise your shots are when you're actually taking them. Okay, slightly out right, but within that green, you can see that it recoiled up and to the left. So I think for a training tool, this SG Pulse paired with the SG timer is a great asset. The other thing I like about it, it does have rechargeable capabilities. It has a magnetic charger, and it'll actually run for 50 hours continuously. It does have auto off. It has different brightness levels, and you can also use it to help level your scope because it is a very precise level. All right, so the unit will ship with the Picatinny or the M-LOK for like $150, or you can buy both for like $160. Remember, guys, I have no ties to this company, so there's no discount code or anything like that. It's just something I wanted to report and give to you guys. Now, I like the different options for being able to mount this. It looks like it's really good quality machining, good coatings on it, but there are some things that I am going to have to gig it on. Okay, all is not perfect in the world, right? So on the M-LOK, and I know why they did this, because if you wanted to attach an M-LOK to your rail, I'm going to hold this where you guys can see it. So if I want to mount it here, so it's kind of out of the way, they've got one screw, one M-LOK screw here, because you have 2 screws that actually hold this unit on. Now, I guess they could put another locator in there, but usually M-LOK is pretty consistent. The problem is they didn't get their machining quite right. So I don't like things that wiggle. And if you guys look, you can actually see I've got a little bit of wiggle when I use the M-LOK mount. Now this is as tight as you can get it without breaking the screw. So that is one thing I'm going to gig them on, is that M-LOK mount could be made a little better. You know, if you're going to do this product and do it right, I think having maybe a little bit longer and having 2 screws where it goes off to the front would give you more versatility. Most people are never going to mount a level all the way on the end of their forend, but having that extra length to be able to hit this other M-LOK slot is not really going to hurt it. As far as the Picatinny mount, this thing's solid. They did a really good job. I like the knurled screw on it. And it does give MDT some competition. They'll either have to come down on the price, or they're just going to lose a lot of sales to these. You know, another thing is while the LRA is still a great proven, I mean, we're looking at about a 10-year track record. The thing about it is it's very hard to get. They're usually out of back order, or when they come in stock, you know, they're in stock for a little bit and then they're sold again. But to be able to save $80 or more on a electronic level, I think is, especially today's economy with how expensive everything is. Now, guys, I get it. You know, getting in the long range is not inexpensive, but also I try not to cut corners where I don't have to. The other thing I don't like about this is I wish there was a, and maybe there is, but in the information that I found, I wish there was a manual way where I could reduce the brightness or make it even darker than what it is, because in a low light situation, even on position 1 for the brightness, it is still a little bit bright. It's great when it's backlit. I had no issues seeing it. I know on the camera it might not show up as well, but I can promise you it is plenty bright enough. I just wish we could make it a little more dim. Another thing that, guys, look, I know that the MDT, you can adjust sensitivity and all of that, but you got to refer back to the little cards to figure out how to do it, whereas this is integrated right into your smartphone. It makes it so easy and so fast. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that review of the SG Pulse. As you can tell, I do have the Steyr SSG M1 that I've been evaluating. And guys, there's a lot of phenomenal things about this rifle. I just wish Steyr had a little more support in the United States. But more on that when I do the review. Hope you guys have a great week. I'll probably be coming at you next week from Texas. I'm doing an event down there. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and thank you for everyone that watches the channel. I really do appreciate it, especially to my Patreon subscribers. You don't know how much that helps out the channel. You guys take care. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next one.